I got audio coming out of my computer.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the beautiful virtual Martinsville Speedway in Ridgeway, Virginia, for tonight's coverage of the APC eSERIES here on Speed 51, as well as on the APC Series' Facebook and YouTube pages. Justin Prince with you, along with the voice of the APC United Late Model Series, Jamie Maudsley. Jamie, first things first, going to be some exciting racing tonight here at Martinsville. Drivers have been looking forward to this race tonight.
Yeah, excellent race coming up tonight here at the track known as the Paperclip. A couple drag strips connected by two hairpin corners. That is Martinsville Speedway, 0.533 of a mile. You see Tom Gibbons here on the outside of the front row. This is the B main, the last chance race. The Hooligan 500, 6 spots up for grabs into the A main. Blair Wickett out front. Matt Lockwood in row 2. Looks like Luke Ramsey alongside him. Down into one they worked for the first lap. Wickett's going to get the jump. Gibbons way up into the rhubarb. Going to open up that bottom line, and here comes Matt Lockwood.
Side by side for the second position. Lockwood dives it in turn 3, rumbles his way around the strips. Around is Hudson Nagy at the back of the field. Staying green we are. More cars flipping. Caution flag is now out. Matt Lockwood involved. Tom Gibbons involved. Everyone else gets through quickly and cleanly.
Well, very quickly they mess up the right rear quarter of that number 10 car. Southampton, Ontario driver Tom Gibbons in the Gibbons Concrete Finishing Machine. As the field now assembling behind the Dale Downey Commercial Vehicle Pace Truck. Blair Wickett out front. Jordan Sim, how about him? Having a good run up into second in the Stuff Lubricant Incorporated number 47. And it looks like Rick Burbridge rolling third right now, the Brantford driver in the Blue Deuce. Looks like we're going to get some replays on what happened here.
Yeah, let's see if we can take a look there, because it involved a lot of bumping and banging, unfortunately, Jamie. Remember, no fast repairs in this series, and making sure you get yourself into the main in part comes down to keeping the car clean. And at Martinsville, it is a difficult task to do. But now Gibbons and Lockwood are going to have to deal with crumpled up race cars, Jamie, and have to hope they can make a move on, say, Hudson Nagy in the 63 and capitalize on any mistakes that comes from the Paperclip tonight.
How big was that B main last week? We saw Lane Zardo and the 31 of Rick Spencer Walt tangle. They both went to the back. Spencer Walt able to weave his way through the carnage at the end and claim that 6th and final magic ticket into the A main last Thursday night as a series. It was in Five Flags Speedway for round number 4. So the field still under caution. Blair Wickett, your leader. And Jordan Sims second, Blair Wickett third. I believe that is Luke Ramsey in the 4th spot.
And DJ Kennington having a good run, was able to get through some of the trouble early on, all the way from 10th to 5th. And Nagy still holding on to that final transfer spot. Remember, just avoided a lot of the contact in that craziness at the start of this race. A bit of a smaller field, though, Jamie, and that means drivers like Eric Del Riva, who I talked to a little bit before tonight's race, who felt a lot of pressure to make the main, knowing he's been one of the quickest drivers in these LCQs. He had a terrific qualifying session, and a lot of drivers felt a little bit nervous, though, because of the nature of the racing at Martinsville, Jamie.
Yeah, it's a tough place to get around, and I think it is going to be a physical affair here later on tonight. There you see Nagy in one of those final transfer spots as the field lines up down the backstretch, getting set to go.
Almost about to get back underway with the green flag. 7 drivers, check that, 8 ready to go in the restart zone along the outside wall. Green flags out, we're back racing for Martinsville. Wicked cuts off the top side, gets his way back to the bottom. Jordan Sims second. Burbridge rides his way to third. Luke Ramsey makes contact with Kennington to get to the bottom of the top 5.
Kennington hanging out in 5th spot. Now the battle on for the final transfer spot. It's Tom Gibbons and Matt Lockwood going at it.
A lot of shuffling around these drivers. Top 2 stay single file, but the battle for the transfer spot. Contact in 7th. Tom Gibbons turned around. Race stays green and clean. Now the caution is out for Gibbons alongside the safer barrier in turn number 2.
Well, that time he got the left rear. Tom Gibbons one beaten up late model here.
Yeah. Hudson Nagy had been trying to ride the bottom side, and they were side by side with Nagy. And should note, Nagy had been having technical issues along the bottom side. Race control directing he may go to the back because of that situation. And as they were all trying to pass the outside, contact sends around Gibbons. Nagy gets the penalty.
Welcome in a driver who's in the a transfer spot right now. DJ Kennington, driver of the 17 machine. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, Jamie, what's up?
We're just watching some racing. You're in a transfer spot right now.
Miracles never cease. Man, I've struggled with this thing. It's a whole different animal. Ryan Dyson's given me a lot of help and getting a little bit better here. I really watched qualifying. I ran like a 6 in qualifying, which was really good for me, but apparently I was speeding on pit road, so that didn't count. But we're just going to try to cruise along here and see if we can't actually make a show for a change.
Hey, if there's a place you can run at, I mean, this should be the one, right?
I would think so, but I was still on the bottom of the charts in practice, and I mean, I'm just having fun. These guys are awesome for letting me even come play with them and have a good time. These guys are really good, man. I enjoy watching them, like the Lapsoviches and Shaw and Dyson. I mean, these guys are really good at this stuff, and it's been cool to try to get better and practice and see how things go. But just out here, got Castrol on the side of this thing. It looks pretty cool, and I've ran a lot of laps at Martinsville, and hopefully we can keep this thing running and make it in the show.
I know we've talked about this before, and this was a cool memory for you, but one afternoon at Martinsville, you guys stayed out at the end of the stage, tried to get a lap back, and then ended up having to pit under green, and you got to run about 30 or 40 laps against the rest of the guys. You had fresh tires, and all I remember telling me is when you were going by Jimmy Johnson like he was standing still. Tell us about that kind of day at Martinsville.
It was fun. I mean, 500 laps at Martinsville in a cup car is crazy. It takes a lot out of you. It's a lot of concentration. But when we had the fresh tires and they didn't, man, I felt like Superman. I was passing cars that they're, normally I wouldn't even be able to run with. So it was a lot of fun, cool time for me. We were laps down, but hey, it was still fun to pass them for a change.
Well, I know you're getting ready to go back green. Good luck today in the 17. We'll hopefully see you in the A main.
Thanks, Jamie. I hope so too. See you, bud.
DJ Kennington sounding very pumped, trying to hold on to the 5th position right now. Keep in mind the transfer spot is now between Lockwood and Gibbons, with Nagy now having to start at the back of the line. Green flags back out, underway once more for Martinsville, coming up to halfway next time by. Luke Ramsey misses the bottom side. Kennington moves his way up the 4th. Ramsey in the wall. Lockwood makes contact, able to save it down the back straight away. Battle for the lead is on, heading down the front. Yeah, well, all that beating and banging was going on at the back of the pack up front. Jordan Sims licking his chops, going after race leader Blair Wickett, the Flamborough regular, and the 97 machine. Down the backstretch he works. Rick Burbridge will tuck in line. Somebody bounced off the fence coming out of turn 2. The front 3 now making a little bit of a gap. And here comes Jordan Sims. He's not going to be satisfied with a second place run. We'll see if the Sault Ste. Marie driver can take that 47 to the front. Very important to try to be the winner of this LCQ because the importance on the bottom side on the starts is going to be paramount when the green flag drops for the 150 lap feature tonight here from Martinsville. Wicket leads at the stripe. Coming now to the final laps of this LCQ. Second spot, Jordan Sims. Burbridge in third. Kennington fourth. Transfer spot held by Gibbons and Hudson-Nagy in sixth.
Top three now working out of turn 4 to the stripe. Now they're joined by a fourth, Tom Gibbons, Matt Lockwood. They just got to ride this out. Keep the fenders together on those automobiles, and they will be advancing to the A main here this evening. Meanwhile, Jordan Sims still putting the heat on that 97 of Blair Wicket. Sims had a pretty good outing so far this year in the virtual circuit. Best finish of 11th in Milwaukee back in race number 3.
Having a very nice LCQ race so far. Nice and clean was mid-pack in practice and fast time. Sims riding his way down the front straight once again. 10 laps to go in the last chance qualifier. Last time by, more than a tenth quicker was Blair Wicket in one of the shot chassis machines. He tries to run away while Burbridge now applies pressure for second into 3 and 4 on the bottom side.
Yeah, Sim was going after the 97 of Wicket. Now he's got his hands full with the Blue Deuce, Rick Burbridge. Another Flamborough driver, a guy who cut his teeth at Flamborough Speedway. So families raced at the Hamilton area 3rd mile. One of the homes of the APC series. Looking forward to getting back after it a little later on this summer at Flamborough Speedway. Out front though, Blair Wicket still in that 97 machine. We close in on about 7 laps to go here in the LCQ. Field staying clean and green here for the late stages of this one.
7 cars left on the track. Luke Ramsey is currently the only driver out of the picture after significant damage after hitting that safer barrier on one of the starts. Wicket still rides his way down the back straightaway. Pulls a little bit of an advantage. Sims, 2 car lengths back, sends it hard on the brakes, closes the gap to half a car length down to 3 and 4.
You see from the in-car, that car just dancing under acceleration. We work down to the bottom, and that curve is pretty high, Justin, about 4 inches. If you hit it, it will really upset your race car. So the whole key is to get as close to the curve as possible. Don't touch the curve, unlike a road course where you can really kick that thing up. But we saw Luke Ramsey. Is he going to get going now? The yellow will come out. Tough break for the 34 as he fights to try to make his second main of the season.
Yeah, he flipped down the front straightaway on his own, Jamie, and we've seen how the cars have been dancing on corner exit. It's so tricky to make sure with the concrete surface in the corners to get the proper launch off without hitting the gas too hard. Ends up snapping it, and bye-bye race car, up and over.
See why they put all the safety equipment in these virtual cars. But again, tough as nails, able to drive away.
On the bright side, if you're in any of the transfer spots, you're the only drivers on the lead lap. Luke Ramsey is now a lap down, would need something to happen to even have a chance to get the lucky dog to be in a position to battle for this 6th and final transfer spot. But everyone else, remember, still battling for vital track position. And think about this too, pit stall selection, because that's popped up in a lot of races. And when it comes to Martinsville, under a caution flag, if you ever have to come down to the lane for any reason, the pace laps are quick here, only about 39-40 seconds, Jamie. If you are at the back end of the pit lane, you have maybe 10-15 seconds in total to get your service done and in and out.
That is a big long pit road and runs all the way around the interior of this track. Some of the pit stalls are on a corner, which in real life really gives the crews trouble. And watch, Justin, at some point later on today, or later on tonight, there will be some kind of mix-up getting off pit road where a guy's trying to get in one of the odd number spots on the restart.
Absolutely, especially since The top line, it does come in eventually. But on the short runs, you want to be on the bottom side. That's the quickest way around. You're able to defend for at least a few laps up at the top, but eventually you just lose that speed on the apex because of how quick you need to be on the bottom side of the short run. Eventually, we'll see a lot of drivers changing up those lines if there's a longer run. But we're all set to go for a green, white checkered finish, Jamie. Should be an exciting one to see who can come away with this LCQ victory and get track position.
Pass them now or pass them later. If you can do it now, it will give you a couple extra positions on the green flag in the feature. Then run it through some of the APC sponsors, including Spire Fire Protection, EP Racing Fuels. Blair Wickett has the field under his control. Green, white checker. You see, holds him back and takes off. Look at the inside lane go. Rick Burbridge is going to try to capitalize it. Swings to the inside of Jordan Sims, down in 1 and 2. Sims got snookered on the start by Wickett, and it's going to cost him second spot as well. Down into 3 and 4. Burbridge with the advantage on the bottom. Burbridge keeps it pinned to the inside. Well, this is going to be a good battle for second now. Sims not giving up on the high side. Into 1 and 2 for the final time.
Side by side for the battle for second position. This is for the 24th starting position for the feature. Hard send for Sims on the outside. Burbridge with the squeeze. Checker flag is out. Blair Wickett wins the last chance qualifier. Sims in second. Burbridge in third. Kennington, Gibbons, and Hudson Nagy all advance to the feature. And what an exciting LCQ race for these drivers tonight to punch their ticket into the 150 lap feature for tonight. Jamie, this is going to be a thrower when the green flag drops for the feature. Drivers are expecting lots of bumping and banging, lots of hard, intense racing. It will be fun tonight to see who can come away with the checker flag, especially with some of the momentum some of the drivers have been having.
That was a pretty clean B main last chance qualifier, but again, I think you're going to see something a little bit different. The aim to put another 20 cars or so out there. Well, welcome in the winner of our B feature, Blair Wickett, driver of the number 97 machine. Blair, how are you?
Doing great. How are you guys?
So far, so good. You got that car hooked up this evening.
It's this fix setup's quite difficult to learn. It's not quite to my driving style, but as you can see, those guys were eating me up going in, but I was able to get it coming out.
What do you think is going to play out in the feature? A lot of predictions of a physical race, or do you think we're going to get one of those long green flag runs?
I'm hoping that we can get a green flag run. I think as long as everybody gives space, we should be okay to pile in and click some laps off. But I know I've had a hard time going in these last 4 weeks here, getting beat up. So I'm going to try and stay out as much as I can.
Seems to be one of the keys is surviving, isn't it?
Yeah, that seems to be it.
Tell us about getting around this place. What do you think you can change your driving style a bit, maybe to, or have you been playing with that and then playing with the different lines to try to get out of the corners better to work around those setup issues you're having?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is these controller or steering wheel setups that we use. The biggest thing on these are the pedals, the brake pedal. There's different, I think there's load cell pedals and that, and they seem to really help how soft you get on the brakes and that. So I think that's one of the major things that helps you get around here. And so I've been playing a lot with the brake bias, or not brake bias, but the way the brake pedal presses on these things.
Have you been iRacing long, or did you take it up during quarantine?
I got this back when I was 14 years old, and so I raced on this through high school, and along came the girlfriends, and this became stupid, so it's more or less got back into it with this APC series now.
Has it been a nice distraction from everything that's going on?
Absolutely. Working and that still during this time, it's nice to come home and relax and do this with the guys we race with normally.
Good stuff, Blair Wickett. A B feature win. Good luck in the A main here coming up in just a little bit, Blair.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Very happy driver indeed for the 23rd starting position tonight, Jamie. These drivers already having some fun, as you can tell on the left side of your screen along that pit lane. I think they're hungry to get on to the paperclip tonight and get to racing for what should be a thrilling one. One thing to note, though, no competition yellow tonight. Drivers are expected to make it on the fuel, Jamie.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking. Everybody's going to make it on fuel. On the flip side, who's going to take tires?
Yeah, and that's going to be something to talk about as this race progresses. It will depend, I think, in part, Jamie, on how the flow of the event goes. Many times on the official iRacing service, drivers will elect to stay up for as many as 30, 40 laps in a row. We'll have to see how the cautions dictate the strategy and the drivers try and capitalize it.
Hey, another guy who's got some track experience a little closer to the feature time. Got a couple of extra laps in there. Jordan Sims in the 47. Solid finish for you there, my friend, in that last chance race.
Thanks. Obviously, it wasn't a place I wanted to be going into this. We had a good qualifying lap. I just managed to clip the wall there, so it disallowed my time. But got a few good laps in there, knowing what the car is going to do for the race, and we'll see what happens.
How important is it going to be to get to the bottom here?
You know what? It hasn't been too bad. On that last restart there, I was able to hold my own a little bit, and I think as the race goes on, you'll notice the line move up maybe a half a car length, and the outside will be able to take off a little bit better. So it'll be interesting.
Have you done a lot of laps around this track?
Honestly, I did about 50 laps on Saturday night by myself, and then I hopped on here last night and then tonight. So I maybe have 150 laps total. And
have you been enjoying doing a little iRacing during this the quarantine?
You know what? I've been doing enough of it. I seem like the only time I really get on here is when we're racing with the APC series. It's all the time I have. I'm still working, so.
Well, we'll see. You got a lot of cars to pass, but you got a lot of laps to do it. Good luck in the feature, Jordan.
Thank you, sir.
Jordan's got to rush towards the car and quick because everyone's onto the starting grid tonight. It would be a fun one. Jordan Lawrence had the fastest time in qualifying with Caden Lapsevich in second. Row 2, Trayden Lapsevich and Dale Shaw, with row 3 featuring Ryan Dyson and Ray Morneau. Ty DiVincenzo along with Cole Tim in row number 4. Jordan House, Eric Del Riva with a good qualifying time rounds out the top 10. As you look at the rest of the starting positions on the bottom side of your screen tonight, Jamie, lots of good drivers tonight, lots of good pace. They were separated by just 0.2 of a second in the top 23 spots in practice.
Yeah, it should be good, pretty good. And what a beautiful racetrack to actually go to, Justin. This place was one of the original NASCAR tracks, 1949. It is the only track that is still in existence. This place started as a dirt track, then became all asphalt. And then, of course, they put the concrete strips in. The only cup track that has a combination of concrete and asphalt. See the field getting assembled now. Down the back stretch they work. I believe the lights are off, Justin. I believe it is almost time to go. The Nissan commercial vehicle pace truck down onto pit road. Jordan Lawrence, Caden Lapsevich on row 1. Watch Dale Shaw and Trayden Lapsevich in row 2. Mano a mano, Dale Shaw and Caden Lapsevich for a spot at the top of the power rankings to close off our eSeries.
Caution. Already trouble off of turn number 2. Multiple cars spinning. Culver involved, Jade Franklin involved, a couple others involved in the first caution flag of the race. That happened quickly.
Yeah, and then somebody got dumped as they were all checking up about halfway down the backstretch and turned into the infield.
Yeah, the fastest car in practice, the 97 at Tyler DiVincenzo. So that is unfortunate for him. Basically forced to take a pit stop and or come down the lane with a significant hit to the left front after a lot of craziness. And all you can say in part of this, Jamie, it's Martinsville, baby.
We can see them all piloted into the fence. Culver and Franklin get together. Franklin ends up spun out. Culver pulls right out in front of DJ Kennington. Didn't signal or anything. Contact with that Castrol Dodge. You see another look. There's DiVincenzo. He gets dumped by Colt Tim as they were getting checked up. Right down pit road for that 97.
All the track position out the window just like that. I don't think a couple drivers realized there was about to be the caution. Seen Dyson already paying attention to the bottom side, Jamie specifically, or Ryan I should rather say. And now he's deep in the field because of that 24th position now after that bump from behind.
This place, Justin, a long history of late models here at Martinsville Speedway. Of course, their big event right around the tail end of September, beginning of October. I believe the recent incarnation of it was the Flagstaff 300, but for years it was known as the Taco Bell 300. One of the most prestigious late model races in the U.S. That's here in Martinsville. Guys like Peyton Sellers, Bubba Pollard, all the big stars of the States competing in that one every year. They used to run these late model cars as the prelim to the Cup races on Sundays at Martinsville in years gone by. Jordan Lawrence now on the point. We'll see if he can control the start, and he will get a good enough jump on Caden Lapsevich. Lapsevich, forces his way down, gets into his brother, and up into the fence goes the 76. And now they're all backed up again behind him. And here comes the pace truck, second time this evening. We're only 6 laps in.
Yeah, that wasn't going to work at the home of the Valley Star Credit Union 300 these days. There was the importance of getting to the bottom, and that time, Caden Lapsevich saw an opportunity, but just simple Martinsville racing. One car trying to go and break it on down or arc it on down to the corner entry. Trayden holding his ground, trying to send it on the bottom side to take advantage of his brother. Up the track goes Caden.
Caden came in number 1 in the weekly power rankings. Number 2 was Dale Shaw, but just by a hair. Both those drivers with 2 wins each.
I believe that was Ramsey who
first
was
4 events.
Yeah. Pardon me for cutting you off there. Was just going to say the second part of that, I think, was Ramsey just got hit just a touch by Stotty on the left rear and just stacked everyone up.
You see Blair Wickett getting turned around there. So she's been a eventful one early.
Welcome to Martinsville is the best way to put it, to say the very least, and was talking with Dale Shaw, Del Riva, Jordan House in that grouping, and all of them were nervous about how this race would flow, especially with contact being a consistent theme when it comes to the bumping and banging at this racetrack. It's going to be interesting how the rest of this shapes out already, coming to the start of lap number 10 already, a couple cautions down. Let's talk about, again, you hit upon the late model race here, held here at Martinsville, the currently named Valley Star Credit Union 300, a big race on the calendar for short track racing. Lots of drivers always make their way to the circuit to battle for victories. The most recent notable iRacing user and part of the Junior Motorsports late model program, Josh Berry, in 2019.
Yeah, it's a great race. I remember back in the days. So way back in the days before they had the K&N East and the West, there was 4 different late model tours basically that NASCAR comprised its regional divisions. The Busch North was in the Northeast, and then they had the southeast to southwest and the northwest. Rick Crawford used to run one of those late models. He was a fixture at Martinsville, and they used to, before the trucks ran there on Saturdays, it was these southeast late models that would run there, the All Pro Series. Guys like Freddie Query would race, you know, a bunch of good shoes, and it was entertaining stuff. So a long time home for late model racing, a big late model country, and of course modifieds. The NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour has stopped here many times over the years. This track just kind of works for everything that has to do with stock car racing and oval track racing.
Indeed, and it's such a beautiful facility too. And don't forget about the hot dogs here at this racetrack. Very much known for them, but these drivers looking to try and get a good start. Coming to the start of lap number 13, Joe Lawrence on the inside, traded Lapsevich the outside of row 1. Off and away goes the APC Pennzoil machine back into turn number 1. Clears his way back to the bottom side by side, continues third on back. Bit of a checkup. Ryan Dyson, though, moves his way to third.
Dyson shuffles Shaw back a spot. Now Cole Tim tries to pounce on Shaw as well. It's Dyson on the bottom, Shaw up top. Now Shaw loses the spot to Dyson, but Dale Shaw, well, he thinks twice about slamming the door on Cole Tim. Tim drove it in awful deep. Now Tim to the bottom, and the 83 machine doing a backslide right now, but here he is driving it in top.
And another quick caution flag in this race all of a sudden. Turn 1 has been the trouble spot tonight, Jamie, and this time it happened with Jordan Sims, who is having a good run so far. It got it up to 18th position in the 47, Jamie. Well, had a massive checkup and had the whole front nose crunched in, and everybody else just piled in with no time to react.
That's what happens. This place, you run so close nose to tail that it's just a accordion effect, and you see, oh, DiVincenzo into the back of Simmons, and then he gets drilled from behind and 90 degrees right off the wall.
Zero time to react for any of the drivers in the back third of the field, especially with how quickly it ricocheted off that edge of the wall, just past the safer barrier, mind you, on the inside. And it was at the same time one driver was thinking of trying to dive to the inside in DiVincenzo, and now his car's crunched in.
It looked like DiVincenzo was giving Sim the room to get in. It was the contact that, I mean, I think he was starting to lift and going to let him get in, and it was the contact from the 10 that put him down there quicker than DiVincenzo thought he was coming down there, and that's what got him into the back of Sim. So, unfortunate circumstances for a couple of drivers. And we do have a few drivers in this field, Justin, who've actually raced at Martinsville Speedway in real life. Of course, we were talking to DJ Kennington. He's raced Cup cars as well as NASCAR trucks here. I would guess, I got to verify this one, but I guess Cole Tim would have probably raced a late model here at some point while he was running around the coastal eastern United States racing late models. And of course, Petey Shepard, when he got the Gong Show audition and became a part of Roush Racing for a while, the audition was here. So the Roush Racing Gong Show, kind of the first ever driver development talent search, if you will, conducted right here at Martinsville Speedway, and this is kind of where Petey Shepard got his big break.
That's such a prestigious track to be able to try and cut your teeth at. It's a difficult track to learn. There's a reason in real life to compare it to a road course almost, and how you handle the racetrack with those drag strip straightaways and the tight braking, and how drivers like AJ Allmendinger in the Cup Series ended up having some of his best races on the ovals at this circuit. But we're about to see how these drivers rev their engines for the start of lap 20 to get back underway once more, Jamie.
Jordan Lawrence, Trayton Lapsevich, Ryan Dyson, Cole Tim, Dale Shaw, Little Ray Morneau. Your front three rows as we get set to let him rip off turn 4. Green is in the air. And how about Jordan Lawrence? Squirts out front. And Trayton Lapsovich now caught in the high side. Ryan Dyson will swing down to the bottom. They shuffle down the back stretch. Now Cole Tim, he's going to try to take Dyson on the top side. I'm not sure if Dyson must have bobbled off turn 2. But he's getting worked on the high side.
Side by side still for the third position. Dyson rolling the bottom side, top side. Cole Tim. Tim spanks the safer barrier, forced to check back up and give away the third position. Everyone stacks up. Contact behind. Dale Shaw sent bouncing around on the curves. Able to stabilize. Jordan House also stabilizes the car. Everyone straightens it out back into 1 and 2.
Another gets strung out. You see the first 6 running nose to tail down the back stretch. All chasing Jordan Lawrence in that beautiful 78
And an air
Pennzoil.
caution flag is out. Sent around again, DJ Kennington. The 017 machine from 23rd position. Got a little bit of help from the glory of virtual racing, let's put it that way, in the back bumper, and lucky that it did not get too much worse for him. You see exactly what I mean right here with the back bumper, and this can happen on real world racing. Sometimes there might be a gap there, and that's what was the case with Hudson Nagy.
Well, and at that point, that car is as light as it's going to be. You're hard on the brakes. You've got everything perched up on the right front and everything on the right side of that car. And basically, all it takes is if you were to walk up to that car in real life, well, it had all that force on it, and give it a slap, that might be enough to turn it around. So tough spot to get that tap in the left rear. DJ Kennington, driver of the 17 Castrol Edge machine, longtime Pinty's superstar, as well as the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series cast car before that. The surprising thing about him, or interesting fact, throughout his whole professional career has had Castrol Motor Oil as a main sponsor on that 17. I just got a message from my buddy that said you haven't lived until you've had margaritas at Martinsville.
You can have margaritas at Martinsville?
I
That's
don't
news
see
to
why.
me.
I don't see why not.
Very tempted to try that now. But a couple things to note, by the way. Hudson Nagy, EOL with the caution flag, and many drivers still having to come down for those very quick repairs we talked about, with so little time in terms of each and every lap behind the pace car. It only gives you about 20 seconds each and every lap at the very most, depending on your location, your pit box, to get damage. If you're Trevor Culver, Jade Franklin, Jamie Grover, who's been quietly running inside the top 25 at parts of this race, you've got to be quick. Not even enough time to even take tires at all to be able to get the damage repaired. And that is going to be a constant theme throughout tonight for some of these cars, where it's going to take a long while to build up some of the repairs and needing more and more cautions to get the job completely done.
But it also depends on where you are. The further forward you are in the field, the longer time you have before they shut that pit road down and you can exit and you get caught a lap down behind the pace truck. You see Blair Wookett pulling down at the bottom. Not sure if there's a problem with that 97, but we're getting set to turn them loose. Trayton Lapsovich up top, Jordan Lawrence on the bottom. Row 2 is Cole Tim, Ryan Dyson, Ray Morneau, and Dale Shaw. In row 3, they'll race down into turn 1. It's on again. Oh, they're 2 wide, 3 wide as Tim looked to the outside of Lapsovich.
Side by side, still for the second position, Ryan Dyson looking to dive his way to the inside. Caution flag is out once again, though. Trouble in turn 3 entry. Rick Burbridge was 3 wide with Gibbons along with the 07, and bye-bye went Burbridge. Kennington also involved for his second big hit in as many yellows. And there's a bit of frustration there.
Yeah, a little bit here. We're only not even 30 laps into this one. Rough and tumble affair here early on. nobody on their best behavior so far, Justin.
Indeed. And drivers are now being reminded that they're also, mind you, not allowed to change lanes before the start and finish line. You see there, 3 wide's never good at Martinsville. Quarter entry, quarter apex, quarter exit, anywhere at this track, and that was part of the circumstances there of some of the drivers with fresher cars trying to bid around some of the beaten up cars. Then for Kennington, sees the car that sit around the previous caution, and because the technical woes for Nagy, actually goes through him, and I don't even think hurt him.
Might have cut that big break there.
Yeah, and Burbridge, though, is going to end up getting the end of longest line penalty and significant damage from that scenario there. So this is continuing to be intriguing and something where drivers are, as a competitor, you're hoping that you get a long run to be able to get a rhythm, because you can get that at Martinsville of up to at least 30 laps, where it puts on a lot of good battling around this racetrack.
Yeah, a lot of times we've seen green flag pit stops in cup races here before, where you get in 130, 140 laps and you just have to come in. You know, we've seen those before, but so far it's been a little choppy here in the early going. We'll see what happens as we move along.
To refresh our top 10, Joe Lawrence is currently in first, by the way. Trey Lapsevich in second spot. Ryan Dyson, who felt very confident about his talent at Martinsville, found it's his best shot to win a race, is in third. Cole Timms in fourth. Ray Mornell's in fifth. Dale Shaw, Jordan House, Eric Del Riva, Jamie Dyson, Jamie Cox round out the top 10. Give a shout out to Rick Spencer Walt. Improved a lot for the last race, Jamie. Showed some good long run pace in practice tonight. Was one of the top drivers in 10 lap average in the final practice session. And now he's looking to try and fight in the top 12 along with Lane Zardo, who started back in 22nd.
Yeah, you see some different guys making their way towards the front here. And again, this is going to be a tough one. It's going to be physical. We're going to see a lot of damaged race cars before this one is done. And that is just the nature of Martinsville Speedway. Never the prettiest race cars when they come out of off the track at Martinsville. We're back under green, down into when they work again. Ryan Dyson unable to make that pass stick on Trayton Lapsevich before that last yellow came out. He'll finish it off this time. Cole Tim, who restarted fourth, now up into third. Trayton Lapsevich muscles his way down to the bottom, but Morneau is there. Trayton Lapsevich up into the outside green. Oh, contact. Dale Shaw hard into the wall. Trayton Lapsevich involved, Shaw on his roof, Petey Shepard involved. Trayton Lapsevich, who just got licensed to drive on the road there last week. And I have to report to the pits to do a little damage control on that 32. A huge wreck here on lap 35.
Well, we were expecting to get physical. It got physical there. Lapsevich got a bit of a door shot in 1 and 2, was able to get it safe. But then there was the physicality to try and get back to the bottom side. Mortal didn't appreciate the contact to his right front fender, with Lapsevich trying to cut his way to the bottom and try and cut that off and stop the bleeding of going backwards on the top side. So, sent it a little bit hard, just got a little bit the edge of the quarter panel, and right there, Shaw, he ended up getting some extra house from House right on his quarter panel, and nowhere to go for Lapsevich. Disaster lap.
It was Shaw, your House that got into Shaw coming out, so almost 2 separate incidents there at the same time, at the same spot.
Yeah, absolutely, and mind you, House does work with Shaw, and you have to be wondering what the discussions are like amongst them right now. They were in a positive mood before tonight's race. Now, for Trayton Lapsevich, the move didn't really work out. Should note, Shaw had to take the tow, so this is going to lose him at least a fair decent amount of time with the demolished race car. Lapsevich in the same situation, though he was able to roll it.
Well, we'll quickly welcome in a driver who's made his way to the front. Cole Tim, driving that 57 machine, and you have been trucking tonight.
Yeah, haven't really made a lot of passes on the racetrack. I got into the 28 there on accident, just got in the corner a little too hot, and moved off the racetrack a little bit on accident. But that's really the only car I've passed. Everything else has just kind of been missing wrecks and getting in front of cars before cautions. But yeah, hopefully cars pretty quick in practice. Had a decent average lap time. Was able to kind of have a long run car. Definitely. I don't know what the deal is. I have not been able to qualify very well for really any of these races. I think the first race was the best I've ever done. So, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Long run car is what wins a race.
Now, have you raced here at Martinsville in real life before?
I have not.
Now, I know everything kind of getting back to somewhat normal, so you're going to be returning to your full-time gig on the Cup circuit, working on these cars. And tell us a little bit about getting back up to a NASCAR race.
Yeah, so we actually just went back to work this week. So hopefully everything gets back to normal here soon. And get to do some racing, and hopefully everyone else is staying safe and their lives are starting.
Well, good stuff. We'll let you get ready for this restart, Cole, Tim, and good luck at Darlington, I guess a week Sunday.
Thank you.
Drivers all set to rev their engines once more here at Martinsville. 110 laps to go. Joe Lawrence in control of the field. Green flag is out. Back underway. Cole Tim, a little bit of a shuffle through the gears this time. Checks up the top side. Through 1 and 2, side by side. More contact in the back. Another spin, another hard hit. Jade Franklin hit. Jamie Cox stopped on the track. Blair Wickett also stopped on the track as the caution comes out once more. As mentioned, things happen quickly here, Jamie, and for Jamie Cox, it happened very quickly.
See him work down the backstretch well. He got into the inside wall. Oh, contact with P.D. Shepard. Blair Wickett drove right into him as well. A tough break for all those guys involved. We'll welcome in a guy who's been at the front, sitting second right now. Ryan Dyson driving the 28 machine, and we having a good run tonight?
Yeah, I wish we could get some green flag laps going. It seems like we're having some good battles up front when we can actually get a couple of laps in, but I wish there was more than a couple at a time, and hopefully we can do that here shortly once some of the attrition gets to the field.
What would it mean to you to pull off your first victory of the series and quite possibly jump Dale Shaw and Caden Lapsevich in the power rankings?
We're gonna do everything we can here. I love this place. I was really happy to see when it got voted as the track we were going to, and Martinsville, there's something about it. I don't know if it's being a Hendrick fan my whole life and how much that place meant to those guys, or I don't know what it is. I love this place, so it would definitely mean a lot, and we're gonna try and keep the nose clean here. And there's some guys racing pretty aggressive unnecessarily up here right now, so just try and keep my nose clean until the last 50, and then we'll see what we can do.
Did you have hot dogs for a pre-race dinner?
No, I did not. That would have been good.
Gotta think these things out. Ryan Dyson sitting third as we get set to go back to green, chasing just Cole Tim and Jordan Lawrence.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy the show.
We will on the bright side. By the way, Dale Shaw is back rolling. 3 laps down. Just got a wave around this time by Pete Shepard with the caution flag EOL. And a good question brought on by our viewers tonight here, Jamie. Do these drivers use spotters, iRacing spotters, or both? In that case, to use a real world crew member or a real world spotter. Majority of the drivers tonight, the answer is yes. Lane Zardo, for example, working with Justin Collison. You have Stotty working with a couple of his crew members, Caden Lapsevich, with Jake Watson. Lots of these drivers tonight working with some of their friends and or real world crew members to try and make sure they hit their marks correctly tonight here at the Paperclip.
So again, Jordan Lawrence, Cole Tim, Ryan Dyson, Ray Morneau, your top 4. As we work our way back through the field here. Closing in on 50 laps down. Looks like we're going to get them double back up and go green shortly.
Indeed, should be some great racing action as these drivers make their way around the circuit for what has been a fun one tonight so far. Joe Lawrence dropping his way off the racetrack. Pace truck dropping his way off the track. Cole Tim ready to start on the outside. Green flags back out. We're back to racing at Martinsville. And back to yellow quickly. Apologies there for the technical glitch there for the split moment. A quick caution flag did indeed happen in that period. That was once again in turn 3 this time, Jamie, after Jay Dewar got hit from behind by DJ Kennington.
These guys are being awful tough on the virtual fiberglass here early on.
We were about to take a look at that specifically, and again, one of the main things when it comes to Martinsville is differences in braking marks and where drivers send in, where they end up letting off the gas, etc. That came into play a little bit in turn 3 and 4 specifically. Mind you, Kennington's got that damage. Driver's already shuffling out, and he's trying to trail brake a little bit more deeper. One of the drivers with real-world experience at this circuit. See right there, sends it in hard. Bit of wheel hop maybe, and right into the back end of the 43 and stacks up the bottom.
Clear wicket in another one at 97. That body work. Guys doing body work on that car are going to be busy this evening.
Yeah, a rough one. In fact, Kennington done for the night after getting an EOL penalty for the cause of the caution flag. But one of the storylines that has been popping up throughout tonight, give a shout out to Carson Nagy, starting in 21st position, having one of his best showings. Has had terrible luck in a lot of the races in the 93. He's up to 8th spot now after that caution flag. One of the highest positions he has been at since, I believe, the Milwaukee Mile.
Yeah, another guy having a good run. We talked to him earlier on tonight. A solid, I believe, 3rd place finish it was in the B main. Jordan Sim, 24th on the grid when we dropped the green. He's up into 10th spot, so a good run for that 47 machine. All the way up in Northern Ontario, Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah, some great runs for some of these drivers. But it comes with the trickiness of Martinsville. If you can stay out of trouble, stay out of incidents, keep the front nose clean, you can move up through the field and take advantage of the others who get involved in incidents. It's just the difficulty of anticipating and avoiding said trouble. But once more, one to go into the green. And a lot of drivers hungry still at the front of the field. Every single driver has at least gained 2+ positions, except for Joe Lawrence. Up at the front of the field, Lawrence, the pole sitter, has kept the point all night long.
Different challenger alongside him now. Cole Tim in the 57. Ryan Dyson will restart 3rd. Morneau in 4th. Jordan House, good run for the driver, the number 8, up into 5th spot. Green flag is out. They try to get 2 wide down into single wide down through 1 and 2. They will run 2 wide. Lawrence out front. Here comes Dyson to the inside of Sims. So far they're cleaning green down into 3 and 4. Chatham trying to make it work on the outside. We got cars around, or a car loose off 4.
Multiple different drivers hit the curbs there in turn 3 and 4. 2 more spin in 1 and 2.
Stoddy went around off the curb, and another yellow as they get going.
You talk about sends and getting the back bumper of one car. Lane Zardo ended up getting 2 of them in one go there that time. Terrible luck for Nick Ramsey on the top side. Not expecting that big of a send from Lane Zardo. They were lucky to save it, mind you, too, with all those drivers hitting the curbing and getting contact in the apex of 3 and 4.
Yeah, you gotta kind of pin that one on the 46. I mean, the 07 Northeast 17, nowhere to go.
Mind you, too, they were stacked up already after the contact between Stotty and Della Riva. Great save by Della Riva and Spencer Walt, who both had to ride the cords after they slid around. Della Riva's lucky not to get hit a second time in the span of half a track.
One more yellow. 48 laps down there, you see Josh Stotty, prime time. Was in the top 10 power rankings. Slid out this week. He's got to do whatever he can do to get back in. He said this is just one tough place, and we're seeing that. And it's just you have to hit your marks here every time, and you have to hit them in the right spot. And if you miss by a little, you're either in the curb or you're 2 lanes high, and 5 cars are going underneath you, Justin.
Exactly. Actually talked a little bit as well with Anthony Alfredo as part of one of the broadcasts I did last night on the iRacing service. He's ran late models here before and is getting ready for one of his Xfinity starts here in the near future once World Racing comes back to Martinsville. Talked about how wheel hop, very prevalent here at this racetrack too on some of these corner entries. Might have been the case for Lane Sardo and a couple others like Kennington so far tonight. It's been popping up because with how hard some of these cars are going speeds, because they have to go from 130, 140 down to, in some cases, 64 miles an hour by corner apex. And that is tough to do in any type of car, Jamie.
This track is an absolute bear on race cars. Geez, I've been there in the 80s, the 90s, the O's, and the teens, all different decades, and it is just a tough place on equipment. It's tough on transmissions. It's tough on brakes. It's tough on engines, because your RPM range is from 4,000 all the way up to 9,500 every single lap, twice a lap. So very tough place on equipment, on brakes, and of course, obviously, tough on bodywork. Green flag out. We're back green flag racing, and how about Jordan Lawrence? Oh, hard into the fence, yep.
And it's Carson Nagy. Carson Nagy all the way back out from 8th position, and now bouncing off the walls. That suspension is toast.
Well, no caution. We stay green as he hit the outside wall hard in that 93 machine. Had worked his way up inside the top 10. And then it all goes away right there. Lawrence out front, Tim second. And there you see, how about Jamie Dyson? First time we've called out on that 11 so far here tonight. One of the guys inside the power rankings, sitting 5th right now. He does battle with Jordan House. They work off turn 4, right ahead of Rick Spencer Wald. So we get a couple green flag laps in now, and some entertaining racing, Justin.
Door check that time for Jamie Dyson coming out of turn 4, side by side still between him and House. Spencer Walt falls along with this clean race car, and another caution flag, and this time it's Tom Gibbons who goes around on the front straightaway from 21st position. Got help from a couple people, I believe.
Closing in on halfway. That flagman, he's making his money here tonight. He's earning it. Tom Gibbons busted up some serious sheet metal in the last chance qualifier. Maybe a little bit of help.
A lot of bit of help. From 2 different cars.
Oh yeah, Cox got into him from behind. And he kind of rubbed Cox coming out of the corner, but the second time, Gibbons was already going around before Petey Shepard got there, or really close to it. And Shepard nowhere to go but finish him off.
Shepard's still getting the EOL from that, as well as Jamie Cox, though, either way, so they'll lose some of the track position they had gained. A part of that sequence, Jamie. We talked a little bit as well already about brake hop and wheel hop when going on braking. Remember, fixed setups in the APC eSERIES. As a driver, you have only 3 things you can adjust. Steering ratio to your preference, steering offset to your preference, and something called the brake balance bar, which in our words is your brake bias. That comes down as well to preference to how hard you want the braking in the front tires, how much you want it in the rear. And it's very different from driver to driver, Jamie, and many can attest to that. Whether it's at the highest levels of motorsports, all the way to the APC United Late Model Series and how they like their cars to handle under braking at specific tracks.
Yeah, it's just a knob that sits within reach of the driver, and you can just turn it. And that's what adjusts it either front or back. You'll see, unlike a master cylinder in a car, there'll be a master cylinder in a stock car will have a device in between that will shift that back and forth, obviously applying more pressure to the front and the rear, and that's how the adjustment's made with that knob in the race car. So Jordan Lawrence, your leader, so far brakes have not been an issue for that cat.
Yeah, he had his best qualifying attempt, I think, all season in the APC eSERIES. It went perfectly for him, that qualifying session, by 1/1000 of a second, mind you, to get that starting spot. And guess what? Being the control car has been critical tonight, and he's been able to time things up in the restart box all night long. By the way, that restart box, of course, on the outside wall in 3 and 4, right where the NASCAR Cup Series and Xfinity logos are for these drivers.
Here comes Jordan Lawrence off turn 4, and green flag is out, and he quickly gets out in front of Cole Tim, gets to the top side, gets the preferred line through 1 and 2, leaves Tim and Dyson to battle for second. Ray Morneau in there. How about Jamie Dyson? Making a bid for 4th on the bottom. He's inside Morneau off turn 4. They're rumbling down the front stretch. You got Jordan House chasing that battle down. That looks like it might be Jamie Grover who survived. No, it's Caden Lapsevich in the black car outside, 6 back up into the top 10.
Massive difference on the tires with some of the damage that 76 has had to repair tonight. 21.6 seconds, 33 laps ago. Everybody else has been on the same set of tires the past 71 laps. Outside line, Lapsevich off of turn 2. Jordan House being driven around by the fresher tires on the high side into 3.
How about Lapsevich? This is kind of what we talked about with DJ Kennington. You get on those Dr. Feelgoods, and they just bring that car to life. You see them eat up car lengths on the guys in front of them. That's what fresh rubber can do for you. Dale Shaw telling me earlier they were seeing drops of about 0.2 of a second in as little as 10 laps. That's how big tires are. It was also weather guys were going to pit tonight was dependent on how cool the weather got, Justin.
And it's very hot, mind you. Hotter than some drivers may have seen in official races if they've ran in various types of cars here tonight. 81 degrees is the track temp right now. 76 air temp, just about 4 or 5 degrees difference from the heart of the practice session. So the track hasn't cooled off too much. And the rubber continues to get built up more and more as everyone rumbles their way still on the bottom side in this late pack.
There you see Colt Tim, the view from his in-car, staring at the rear bumper of Ryan Dyson's number 28. Dyson goes second. Your leader still Jordan Lawrence. He's led since the outset. This 78 has been dominating.
Oh, and caution right in front of the leaders.
Josh Stoddy around in the 17.
Yeah, and it looked like really locked up the brakes to try and keep it off of the car in front. Petey Shepard ends up just becoming the bad luck driver who was trying to diamond the corner in. There are different lines you can take of this track, mind you. A lot of drivers prefer to ride the rumble strips. Shepard was trying to diamond it off the corner, but unfortunately Stoddy's nose was just there at that time.
Yeah, and as Petey Shepard was trying to save it, we're back up into the track and into Josh Stoddy. Stoddy will get there, see him getting rolling up in front of the leaders.
On the bright side, gets to keep the lap because of how quickly he was able to get back going. Most drivers lose a lap in that type of scenario, but Cole Tim heard the discussion on the tires. He's among the drivers who have ducked into the pit lane, Jamie.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here on pit stops. Cole Tim going to take those fresh goodies. Give him 4 in the 15.6 range for a fast lap. He'll be about 18th, 19th-ish on this restart. You also see Rick Burbage rolling.
Strategy starting to get divided, and keep in mind Jamie Dyson was one of the quickest drivers in a 20-lap run earlier. I believe you're standing by with him in his car.
Yeah, welcome Jamie Dyson into the virtual studio. That 11 car has been slowly working his way to the front, my friend.
Hey guys, yeah, I'm just taking my time here. I've been liking the high side. I picked up all my spots so far, I think, except one on the high side. So I don't know, the high side seems to have a nice lane here, so hopefully we can get some green flag laps and I can keep it going.
Now, I don't know if you've noticed, you got that 76 behind you. He suffered some damage, but he's got some goodies on there, and those tires are bringing him to the front.
Yeah, I imagine he did get himself some tires, like you say, so he was coming quick on me there. None of us up at the front here have tires, so even though he probably only has 20 or so laps less on him, I'm sure it's going to be quite an advantage for him, so I'm just going to keep an eye on him. Maybe I tuck him behind him and follow him to the front.
Are you going to pit, or what you got's what you got as long as you don't hit anything?
I mean, it's hard to say right now. I kind of want some tires, but track position is important here. As we've seen with attrition here, track position is very valuable, so I don't anticipate on pitting, but if I have to, if I need some tires, if we get a long green flag run, I might.
There you go, Jamie Dyson, driver the number 11 in the top 10 in the power rankings, and has raced his way up inside the top 5 here tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Drivers all set to get back underway once more from Martinsville Speedway. Joe Lawrence once again on the inside, Ryan Dyson on the outside. Marty the flagman weaves the white flag once more. Back to racing. Ryan Dyson with a good launch. Sends it hard on the outside. Ray Morno tries to dive it on the inside of the battle now for second.
Again, Ray Morno, one of those power ranking drivers, getting his way to the top. And look at Caden Lapsevich now up in the 5th. He's the one to watch. That 76 car sitting back in about 5th spot. They get lined up. Cut one into the infield wall. Not sure if it will necessitate a yellow or not. A little bit of contact, but it looked like the car kept going. They snake down the backstretch. Here comes Caden Lapsevich trying to outbrake Jamie Dyson. Can't do it. Dyson will close the door. Lapsevich will have to gather it back up. Well, at the same time, holding off challenges from behind now.
Still cruising the way inside the top 5. Caden Lapsevich on the fresher tires, looking to try and make a move on Jamie Dyson for the battle for 4th position. All the drivers slow down to 60, 70 miles an hour on quarter apex. Back down the front straightaway. Pulling away from the top 6. Continues to be the separation amongst those drivers. Back down the back straightaway they go. Still not a close enough run yet for Caden Lapsevich to make the dive.
At some point, Caden Lapsevich will have had enough, and that's when things will get physical. You see, he's doing everything he can, definitely faster than Jamie Dyson. He gets right up under that rear spoiler of the 11 car, but can't seem to get enough of a run on him out of the corner to get to the inside of the next corner.
Trying to send it hard now, starting on these apexes. Off down the front straightaway they go. 64 laps to go. Lapsevich shows the nose, checks back up once more, tries to dive it off the corner, hits the curbs, able to save it coming off of turn 2, loses some momentum. Back into turn 3 and 4 they go. Caden Lapsevich now has to regroup and gain some of the time lost last time by.
And we got some action right behind them. Jordan House, Rick Spencer Walt going at it. Spencer Walt on the charge. He's been the aggressor. Jordan House has been doing his best to keep that 31 back there, but that is the battle Cole Tim, one guy we're watching, already up to 13th spot. So he's picked up 6 positions since restarting on those fresh tires. We'll see if that strategy plays out. There he is, the 57 of Cole Tim. He's now caught Trayton Lapsevich right in front of Lapsevich. Looks like Jade Franklin maybe in the 31. We'll see what Tim can get done. Again, fresh tires on that 57 machine, but he's got to get by this group and get by it quick.
Massive checkup with Lane Zardo at the front of the group for 10th position. Dive to the inside. Trayton Lapsevich slides up on Apex side by side down the back straightaway. Jade Franklin tries to drive his damage machine up high. Trayton Lapsevich just barely misses the corner panel. Lane Zardo tries to block, but the caution flag is out. Once more, the yellow flag on the racetrack. Tom Gibbons involved in this one.
And that would have been huge if Cole Tim could have figured out a way by that cluster of cars before the yellow came out. Because that would have ate up a whole lot of real estate out in front of him. You see Tom Gibbons' car, Turkey walking down the front stretch, the back end trying to pass the front. Some heavy damage to that 10 machine.
Yeah, and this came off turn number 2, believe, here. With the bad luck continuing for Gibbons, just missed corner entry, sent it a little bit too hard, tried to line it up in, came a little bit too low. One car coming off for the exit is P. Shepard, and hard hit. That's Grover. That 33 just got creamed in that. And there's the turkey crab. Well, the crab walk in the turkey walk.
Well, welcome in, driver. We were just talking about having a heck of a run. Rick Spencer Wall, driver of the 31 machine. And Rick, you having a good night so far?
Yeah, I'm having a blast here, just kind of riding around, trying to stay out of a bunch of the wrecks here. It's a bit chaotic so far.
It is tough to get a run on somebody. We were watching the leaders, but at the same time, we can see you, Jordan House, going at it. You were poking the nose a few times, but you really got to get in there to be in there, don't you?
Yeah, I tried to follow Caden through a couple laps before that, and I don't know if it was net code or what ended up happening, but I got hooked with him up to the outside and fell back to 10th or 11th, and we got going back up, got back to 7th. But yeah, it's tough. He's throwing some blocks that he has to throw there, and I just don't need to get into him that early and cause anything more than we already got going on.
Hey, you still hung into the power rankings at the end of last week. What's it going to take to move up here in the final week before we go to break?
Yeah, I think just avoid some carnage. We got a real good car. I'm having some fun here. Things driving good. I really like Martinsville. I've run a lot of NASCAR games and run a lot of races here, so it's a lot of fun. So I don't know, hopefully pick some of them off here and be back up to the front for the end like always.
We're getting ready to go green. Rick Spencer, Walt, thanks for joining us, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, guys.
Very pumped up driver at this point here tonight, Jamie, and he's been having a solid run. Was one of the cars, though, in this caution flag sequence who elected to take fresh tires. So at this point, the top 3, along with 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th on that top ticker, have yet to get tires. Everybody else inside the top half of the field has come down to pit at least once. Oh, and by the way, Dale Shaw, despite flipping over, he's now back on the lead lap in 19th.
Why wouldn't he be? It's iRacing. Anything can happen. Shaw has not given up in his quest to go head-to-head with Caden Lapsevich here. Again for the top rung of the power rankings after week 5 of the APC United Late Model eSERIES Spring 2020 edition. Ryan Dyson on the top. Jordan Lawrence on the bottom. Green set to come out. And hey, this is the best run we've seen from that outside lane here. Will Dyson have anything for the leader? Trying to get it done high, wide, and handsome. Can't get it done. And now he's going to fall into the clutches of Little Ray Morneau. Morneau's filled that gap in the bottom for second, Justin.
Side by side, once again to the start and finish line. Dyson with a better power move, able to get back to second. Blocks off the bottom side. Morneau falls back in third. Caden Lapsevich now tries to block 2 lines, gets and holds on to P number 4. Single 5 on the top 6. Multiple cars spin on the inside. Del Revo involved, Stoney involved. Caution flag is out. Jade Franklin also involved as 2 different drivers nearly swung into the safer barriers.
Whole bunch of guys wrecking on the straightaway as we close in on lap 100, just 50 to go, and
yeah, 2 different cars there. Yeah, on this replay, Jamie, 2 different cars just avoided the safer barrier, just scraped the safer barrier, if anything, on the top line. And remember, on iRacing, this is a new part of the racetrack. Takes away a foot or 2 of that line, and 2 of those drivers scrape that line. Sims up in the front part, starting in the second part of it.
Yeah, it looks like Jade Franklin was that other driver involved in the back half of that incident.
And one of the difficult things, especially if you're an iRacer with experience at Martinsville, is muscle memory, because you're so used to how a track feels and handles and drives for respective cars for years. Then you have a change. So even some of the drivers up at the highest level in eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series talked about this, that they had to relearn how they exited the corner just because that 1 foot of safer barrier added on the outside walls at some of the tracks. For some of them, they just got lucky to get through that incident with the multiple drivers scraping that wall.
Hey, welcome in another driver who welcome in another driver who's making his way towards the front. Jordan House, you're having a pretty good run. You and Rick Spencer Walt, we were watching you guys battle there. It was entertaining, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm just cruising around right now. Apparently he's got some complaints, but tight track like this, like Flamer, you kind of just gotta give and take a little bit. You can't really complain too much this early in a race. I know, well, I guess it's lap 100 now, but we don't have many green flag laps. You kind of just gotta wait it out.
Do you guys taking tires yet or not?
Have we? No, I'm still on the set we started with, and at this point, I don't know if we're even gonna bother taking tires. We'll see what the cars in front of us do and see how many laps are left.
Was that the game plan coming into it, or has that kind of changed as the race has gone on?
It's kind of just evolved a little bit. We talked about taking tires around halfway, but now that we haven't ran very many laps, it's just wait it out, see what happens.
At what point does it turn from patience to aggression?
What's that, sorry?
At what point do we go from patience to aggression?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna let the guys in front of me be a little more aggressive right now and pick up a spot when they move a guy or whatnot. Just capitalize on whatever they do.
Let Jordan House go. Good luck as we get set to go back to green.
All the drivers ready to rumble their way back through the restart box. Joe Lawrence again on the jump. Green flag is out. Ryan Dyson making contact door to door into turn 1. Dyson tries to get the squeeze. Lawrence tries to get the run. Can he get clear this time? Dyson keeps it just in the corner panel, heading into turn 3.
Yeah, Dyson doing everything he can to get it done on the top side, the high rent district. But now Lawrence will clear him. He shuffles up towards the safer barrier. Dyson will fall into line in second. He gave it a valiant effort on the top side, just unable to get it done. Now he falls a car length back behind Jordan Lawrence. They hustle down into 3. And now you look at the back view out of Dyson's machine. How about little Ray Morneau, the Windsor driver, up into 3rd spot in that orange and black 03.
Right now, Mordo, one of the highest drivers on older tires, watches Dyson get loose in front of him. Still rumbling in the top 3, but the pressure starts to build up behind. Caden Lapsovich and Cole Tim on fresh tires, 4th and 5th, marching their way up to the front of the bottom side. Back into turn 1 they go, ready to try and make a move on the top 3.
Right now, Caden Lapsovich again with the first guy with those precious tires trying to make a move, but so far, it's that 03 holding them off. There's Ryan Dyson in second. Now you see Cole Tim. He's already made his way from his pit stop. Now he's got the freshest tires of the bunch, Justin, sitting there in 5th spot. What is that 57 going to do? He pitted about 15-20 laps after Lapsovich, but he just bounced it off the wall.
More contact with that safer barrier down the back straightaway, back into turn 3 and 4. No one taps it, but cars are tapping for the caution flag. Lane Zardo sent around from 10th position. Ended up getting a bit of help as multiple cars went sliding and slick around. Spencer Walt this time with the love tap causes the caution flag. This would be on the entry to turn 3 here, Jamie, and we talked about Lane Zardo and seeing one of his best runs in the APC eSERIES. All the track position just went out the window on this.
Tough thing is at Martinsville, that's considered in there enough.
Yeah, that's just the racing deal when it comes to Martinsville is you have drivers knowing how important it is to dive to the bottom side. You've got different lines and different braking zones. It's inedible you make at least contact with somebody. What's the saying? If you don't have damage on one side of the race car at Martinsville, specifically the left side, you're not trying. Is that the right phrasing?
Well, you definitely want to have it on the right side because that means you're doing the passing.
Exactly. And the left side, you're getting passed.
Welcome in one of our top 3 drivers, little Ray Morneau, driver of the 03 machine. Ray, having a good night?
Yeah, we're just kind of staying up here, and luckily been on the inside here for the last few restarts, and just been able to stay up here.
Do you want to make the move on that 28 on a restart and get up in the second, or are you more comfortable running in third because you're on the bottom?
I think I'm sitting pretty good right now. I don't know if I want to make a move too early, but we'll see how things go. Every restart's different, so we'll see.
How do you like getting around this place?
It's fun. It's hard track to get around, bumper to bumper. I mean, you gotta be on your toes. Somebody checks up in front of you, and it's fun. But we'll see. Only got 40 laps here, and hopefully we can stay up front.
Hey, you've put together some good finishes so far in this series. I know you've got 2 top 5 so far. How big would a virtual grandfather clock be?
Definitely be neat. So we'll see how many moves I got to make here, and we're getting ready to go green.
Morneau getting set to go back green here as we get set to cut them loose. Thanks for joining us, Ray.
All set to get back racing. 37 laps to go on the left quarter panels. Slipping and sliding multiple drivers as the green flag waves from Marty to flagman. Joe Lawrence holds onto the bottom side. Multiple drivers send it in hard on the exit at turn 2. Dyson shuffled a second. Morneau stuck side by side with Caden Lapsevich this time.
Morneau trying to get it done on the bottom on Dyson, but hasn't had the opportunity. Meanwhile, he's got to fight off Caden Lapsevich on the high side.
Oh,
how about
crashing? Caution flag once again. Petey Shepard got sent around 3 wide into turn 3. Brings out the yellow after contact with Shade Franklin. Lane Zardo was also sandwiched with Stotty. And Carson Nagy got shuffled hard into the fence as well in the stack up.
Check the replay, see just how that started. Shepard was sideways by the time we saw him. Then him and Stotty collided. Nagy into it, Zardo into it. You can see they're 3 wide down the backstretch. Nick Ramsey on the bottom. And Petey Shepard nowhere to go. Franklin shoved him up and then he kind of lost it. And as he tried to get going again, you see Stotty was getting shoved from Lane Zardo behind. Again, what you were talking about, Justin, about there's just nowhere to go when you're caught behind a guy.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there was the thought from Franklin he was going to back off on the outside. That didn't end up happening. And try to go for the later arc, and bam, door-to-door contact, and then nowhere to go for Shepard as he had to gather it up. But again, regathers the cars here. And you have to wonder at this point what's going to the thoughts of the drivers with the fresh tires. They gained all the track position they had lost from their pit stops and or damage repairs in some of their sequences. Now, Caden Lapsevich, Cole Tim, Traden Lapsevich, all inside the top 6 again, and just about everybody now is pit except for Joe Lawrence, Ryan Dyson, Bray Morneau, and Jordan House inside that top 10.
Well, I think with just 32 laps, the top 3 guys, they've made their bed already. What they've got's what they've got. There's no way they can change strategies now and drive through the field in the last 20 laps or so. So what you've got's what you got right now at the front of the field. I can't see anything wholesale coming the rest of the way. A couple of APC sponsored entries up front. Jordan Lawrence, Ryan Dyson. As we get set to line up for the restart, and this is going to be a good one. Neither driver have won. Again, we've only had 2 drivers that have been successful at winning. I believe one of them now up into the top 10 as well, besides Caden Lapsevich. I think that's Dale Shaw.
Yeah.
Back up on the lead lap. We were looking for him on the back of a milk carton about 50 laps ago. Don't count him out.
Said it yourself. Anything can happen. And Joe Lawrence ready to bring them back to the green. Great launch. Once again, back into turn number 1. Coming to 30 laps to go next time by. Ryan Dyson tries to get it to work on the high side. Morneau rides the bottom side off of turn 2. Caden Lapsevich and Cole Tim look to fight for 3rd.
Yeah, Dyson threw a little block on Morneau down the back stretch, keeping him in line behind him. They're side by side for 4th. Again, both on those fresh tires. And Morneau's got to be loving this as Lapsevich and Tim run side by side off turn 2, down the back stretch. And I believe that's the 32 of Traden Lapsevich now. He's taking his brother to school off turn 4. Traden Lapsevich now up to P5.
Traden Lapsevich on some of the freshest tires in the field. Same tire cycle as Cole Tim. 4th and 5th in the line. Single file amongst the top 10 cars. The question's going to be, is there enough time to try and make a move? 28 laps to go this time by. Morneau still having to play defense for 3rd.
Yeah, he's got Cole Tim breathing down his neck. Traden Lapsevich running 5th. Caden Lapsevich in 6th. That's the way they run down the backstretch, getting strung out. And this is this could be the longest green flag run possibly we've seen all night here, Justin.
Indeed it has so far. These drivers hoping to keep it that way. Lawrence with a great launch off of turn 2. Pulls 2 car lengths. Dyson still trying to play defense. Morneau still in 3rd. Still no place to go for the fresh tires as they start to build up behind, but the caution comes out again. This time in turn 3. Started all the way on the back straightaway with Rick Spencer-Walt back in 18th with help from the 22. Sending around the 07 as well.
And one more yellow, 25 laps left to go.
And this has just been a common theme on some of the corners. Some of the drivers trying to give some space to the safer barrier. Drivers like Dale Shaw said they usually keep it more away from the wall. Others have been trying to go right up towards it. That time, Shepard tried to keep away from the wall, and just as they start to try and gather back up, just collected Ramsey in the sequence.
Well, as we take a couple looks at that replay, we'll welcome in our race leader, Jordan Lawrence. A little less than 25 laps to go, my friend. You have, first of all, done a phenomenal job on every single restart so far tonight.
Thanks, there. They're getting pretty tough, but it's been a lot of fun so far.
The guy that's gave you the biggest challenge on the outside, though, if there's anybody that has, it's that 28. He's been able to stick it there for a corner or two.
Yeah, he's really fast here. He's always been fast here, so I knew he'd be up front. So it's a good challenge to try and hold him off here. 25 more laps. Hopefully we can get a nice green flag run and really have a good battle, show some skills.
You got some fresh tires sitting back there in 4th and 5th. Cole Tim, Trayton Lapsovich, Caden Lapsovich either as well. But you do have a little buffer room with some used tires sitting 2nd and 3rd. You know, what do you have to do to get it done here?
Keep it marks. Don't overshoot any corners. Get through the gears on these starts. I'm watching these guys with new tires coming. It's a little bit of a concern, but as long as we hit our marks, I think we can bring her home.
How big would it be to win a virtual grandfather clock and eat a big old hot dog after this was all done?
That would definitely be a nice way to end our little run here with APC, and excited to get it back going when we do, but to go out with a bang like this would be great.
In March 2019 APC Rookie of the Year. Looks like they get the one to go. We'll get set for him to take us back to green.
And he hit it on the nose how well he's handled these starts. It's getting more and more difficult, though, with these older and older tires on the concrete surface. Lawrence again to the restart box. Dyson on the outside. Not as good of a launch. Dyson with the drag race. Green flag is back out. Coming to 20 laps to go. Contact behind. Ryan Dyson gets hit. Ray Morto involved. Trey Lapsovich with the door. Multiple others slide. Everyone else counters it up.
Cole Tim was involved. Oh my. Hey, everybody's still going. Now they left. Caution will come out. And this changes everything.
Yeah, this moves the fresh tires right up to 2nd and 3rd. My goodness, though. Cole Tim waited for the right moment, Cole Tim, to dive to the bottom. The problem was he was in the middle of a car sandwich, though.
I think little Ray Morno expressing his displeasure with Cole Tim. We'll see what happens on the replay. This is under yellow.
Yeah, I reacted
So
back.
Ray Morno, I'm going to guess that Ray Morno thinks Cole Tim was involved.
He definitely was involved. On the replay, I think it will definitely show this here, Jamie, where he waited all the way to the start and finish line, as you're supposed to do to switch lanes, but Ray Morto had also had an early brake mark. It was not expecting, I think, Tim to fill up the gap right behind him, and just ends up making the contact. Great save by everyone to keep it straight, but this loses Morto as well as Ryan Dyson a fair amount of spots.
And it almost at the same time looked like Trayton Lapsovich didn't want to give up that bottom lane and might have got into Cole Tim right there from behind, which knocked him into Ray Morno.
Yeah, it was just a
See
sequence
Cole
of a
Tim.
couple things.
Yeah, Cole Tim just changed his lanes all of a sudden. Try again, everybody. Just fight to get that. That's what happens when you got to fight to get the bottom lane.
Yeah, they were all fighting for that important positioning, and I think Tim knew that if he was able to get it done properly, that would have potentially got him into the top 3, if not a chance to move up to 2nd position in about 3-4 laps. It's just everyone again accordioned into that corner with the early braking, with Trayton Lapsovich not wanting to give up the bottom, and now all of that, Trayton Lapsovich did take a shot to the right front quarter panel as well along the tire, but he's now in 2nd, and his brother Caden's up to 3rd.
It still looks like we got just a couple laps before we go back to green. We'll welcome in Trayton Lapsovich. Trayton, you got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, first of all, congratulations on your G1 last week.
It's about time.
You got those fresh tires. We haven't seen anybody be able to get it done on the outside, but we haven't seen anybody with this big of a tire advantage. Can you get it done here in the closing laps?
I don't know. I got a little bit of damage too, so that's hurting me. I see Joe's got a fresh, clean car. I had about 2 minutes of damage earlier, so see how that.
We're getting set to go back to green. Thanks for joining us shortly, and good luck here on the closing laps.
Thanks.
Getting ready to go back to racing. Last time, Tim filled the open hole. Will anyone try and fill the open holes this time? 14 laps to go. Green flag's back out. This time, Trayden Lapsevich does fill the hole. Right in front of Caden Lapsevich, side by side for third, but the fresher tires of Trayden Lapsevich now trying to focus as multiple cars bounce off the wall behind him. Back down the front straightaway, and another caution flag quickly out. And it continues to be interesting here, Jamie. I think this time it was, again, 3 and 4. Jade Franklin getting some help this time in a stack up.
Virtual fiberglass continues to get bent. A lot of heavy damage here, some beat up race cars, some hurt feelings, but we've seen some pretty good racing. And we've seen a great example on every restart by Jordan Lawrence. There's P.D. Shepard in the middle of it again. It's into the back of Jade Franklin. Nice evasive maneuver by Jamie Grover to avoid that.
Yeah, that 33 has taken a couple licks tonight. Able to avoid adding more damage to the car, but still very intrigued on what these drivers do here again, because Joe Lawrence has been good on the starts. I think if Trayden and Caden, as well as everyone else in the fresher tires, get enough laps, I think there's a chance they make the move for the race win. But you need the laps, though, to be able to make the move, even though Joe Lawrence is on much older tires compared to Trayden and Caden. In some sequences, especially between second and first, almost 70-plus laps, Jamie.
Yeah, there's a big difference, but the longer those tires go, the less and less the advantage is. It's exponential the way they drop off.
And exactly.
Like if you go from a 21 to a 21.5 in 5 laps, it doesn't mean you're going to be 22 in 10 laps. You know, it's exponential. It might take you 50 laps to get to 22 seconds.
And think about this as well, too, and some drivers, some of the best drivers for the super late model on iRacing discuss this. Some of the best laps they get are on old tires on a green, white, checkered restart, in fact. In some cases, on some of the racetracks.
These are guys that are really good under pressure, Justin.
Exactly. And Joe Lawrence, we're about to see how good he is under pressure. We've seen a lot of good moments from him at Delaware Speedway, for example, under pressure.
Oh, sure. I mean, he won the pole last time out at Five Flag Speedway, won a couple poles in his rookie season. He was third at Milwaukee. He was second at USA International Speedway, ran the third fastest lap there, won the B main at Milwaukee. He's been very consistent, very fast throughout this series. We'll see how he does here. Can he close the deal? Can he hold off Trayden Lapsevich? Can he go to victory lane? The field in the hands of Jordan Lawrence. Green flag comes out, and he gets the jump. Lapsevich tries the crossover, but we'll have to tuck in a line behind Lawrence to 1 and 2. Brian Dyson has resurfaced. He's in 4th on the outside of Lapsevich. Oh, we got another wreck at the back. The 2 of Burbridge, 97 of Wicket in it, and it's a parking lot in turn 2.
And I think Burbridge may have got a slight bit of a nudge, if any, from Jamie Dyson. Did a great job on trying to hold on to the car the whole corner, but just ended up eventually correcting right into the door to the 97 of Blair Wicked. Fortunate for Blair Wicked and everyone else in the back part of the field.
Not sure what happened there. It looks like Burbridge just turned Wicked into the wall. There's no reason for it. It was almost like he glitched.
Might need to take a look at the onboard specifically. But looked like he was keeping the wheel to the left. If you jerk it too much to the right, that's where the control, that snap comes, and off and away goes Ramsey out of that, though. Just a hit to the quarter panel.
Well, that's good, because he's got smoked about 5 times tonight in incidents that weren't his fault. And Nick Ramsey, bone stock driver extraordinaire at Delaware Speedway. He's had some good runs in the APC series. He's one of our officials on tour. He's been fast every week, just unable to close the deal. Finished 10th at USA Speedway, ran the 4th fastest lap at Richmond, and an average finish of 15.3 position. But I mean, he ran inside the top 10 at 5 Flags at Milwaukee. Pretty much every one of our events, he's been in the top 10 at some point, and mostly for a significant amount of time. Tonight, Lady Luck has not smiled on that 07, but look where he's showing up to, inside the top 10 again.
Absolutely has a chance to gain some positions, and keep in mind too, Dale Shaw's in 8th right in front of him. Had flipped upside down at one point. He was actually telling a bit of a story. We were discussing about some of the expectations for tonight. He talked about at one point in some of his experience is he has a friend that he calls B-Main because he always wins the B-Main. One of the B-Mains, that driver had won, flipped upside down, went on to win said B-Main later on in the event. Dale Shaw trying to do that here after back-to-back wins in the APC series coming into tonight.
Shaw will line up alongside Cole Tim back in 8th spot. And again, you can almost a coin flip between him and Caden Lapsevich in the power rankings. Will it be one of those two guys on top? I could see Trayton Lapsevich maybe move to the top if he can post a win here. He's going to have another shot at Jordan Lawrence on the restart. Green flag out. Less than 2 laps to go. They're working lap 149 through 1 and 2. It's Dyson on the bottom. Trayton Lapsevich on the high side.
And another quick caution flag sent us to the green-white checker, Jamie. And we just talked about Ramsey and his bad luck tonight. Make it number 6 involved in this evening. And already a couple drivers apologizing over the radio for some of the contact and that with nowhere to go in that sequence.
Somebody behind Ramsey's got to do a little better planning there.
Jade Franklin.
A little more planning needed on that one.
Yeah. Got the end of longest line penalty, though, in that incident. So that'll move him behind Ramsey, in fact, for when the green flag drops for the first of 5 green-white checkers tonight. And for our fans watching at home, green-white checkered proceeds as this. For an official attempt to be completed, you must see and take the white flag to be able to finish the race. Anything that happens after the white flag, race is official, checker flag is the next flag. But if you get a caution flag before they take the white flag at the front, at the start and finish line, they will restack them and rack them for a second attempt. Same for the 3rd, 4th, all the way to the 5th. If there is a caution flag before they take the white on the 5th attempt, race is official, ends under yellow. And these drivers want to, I feel, get to the white, make the race official, finish at the checker flag in what could be an exciting finish.
We'll see what happens here. Late stages of this one. Green, white, checkered. 2 decided. Race number 5 of the APC eSERIES Super Late Models. We started out in Lakeland, Florida. USA International Speedway, a 0.48 mile racetrack that is now not even in existence anymore. From there, went to Richmond, Virginia, a 3/4 mile NASCAR track. A lot of green flag runs there, tremendous racing. Caden Lapsvich's second race in a row. From there, we went to the Badger State, home of the Cheeseheads, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The Milwaukee Mile Race number 3. Dale Shaw found his way to victory lane. It was back to Florida for round 4, home of the Snowball Derby, Pensacola, Florida, 5 Flag Speedway. Dale Shaw to victory lane again. Race number 5, we've returned to the Commonwealth State. We are in Virginia, Martinsville, deep in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Martinsville, a town of about 30,000 people. It balloons to 100,000, one of the biggest cities in Virginia on race weekend for the Cup cars. Right now, it's the APC cars gonna decide one in front of a great crowd here this evening under the lights at the paperclip. Jordan Lawrence has the field under his control. Trayton Lapsevich gonna see what he can do on the outside.
Back into turn 1 they go in the first green-white checker. Joe Lawrence on the inside. Contact behind. More car spin. Another caution flag. Jordan House in the wall. Petey Shepard up and over. Others bumping and banging their way through turn 2. And a second GWC is about to proceed.
Somebody just tried to drive through Jamie Cox down in the corner.
Bumping and banging, heading to turn 1 again. Remember, some of the caution flags, drivers on older tires were mixed in front of some of the drivers on the newer tires. There were a couple different stack-ups there. This one at the back part of the field, which seen Peter Shepard flip over, and the trigger of the caution flag at the front of the field.
Oh, Shepard just drove into Jay Dewar.
Now the secondary one, Cole Tim may have the best angle of this one. Yeah, take a look. Massive checkup. And there's again that point made. Drivers trying to find the hole to get to the bottom side and get as best of a track position and best of finish they can. It checks everything up on the bottom.
Cole Tim absolutely cleaned out Jordan House. House having a nice run of the 8 machine, and I mean, we could see this lineup totally flip over a few times in the next couple restarts if we get a few more.
Indeed, and for some of these drivers, you have to keep your cool at this point now. Now, if you let the emotions boil over at any point, that's where you make mistakes and you allow drivers and allow others to try and make a move. And again, don't blame them for some of the moves because they're fighting for the best finish they can. But you also need to think, how smart would that move be? But again, it's the end of a race. Everyone's fighting for position.
Hey, look who's moved back up in the 5th spot on the bottom there, Justin. How about that? Little Ray Morneau, after getting involved in a wreck just a couple laps ago, fighting his way back inside the top 5.
Yeah, he was that car I was talking about who dived towards the bottom side, I believe, to try and get back up there. He's done a decent job recovering the positions and staying out of some of the trouble in some of the situations.
Big mix up here right now. You've got lap cars in front of the leader. So it was almost as if the pace truck picked up the wrong vehicle.
No, they're the wave around vehicles, Jamie, so they get the chance to gain a lap back. They were just involved in the caution flag. So,
gotcha.
What else? Double fouls up.
So less than 2 laps to go. Green, white checkered attempt number 2. Dale Downey. Nissan commercial vehicle dips down onto pit road. Home with the famous hot dogs and the grandfather clock to whoever can come home with a win. Down into one they work. Lawrence will take the lead into one. Trayton Lapsevich trying to get lined up in second. He's got Caden Lapsevich side by side with Ryan Dyson for third. Dyson at a disadvantage now to Caden on the bottom. Out of 4 they come with contact behind the leaders. White flag's out, 1 to go. It is official. Stotty's wrecking. Will we stay white? Green flag still out. Lapsevich has got to get something done here in the late going. Final trip into 3 and 4. Jordan Lawrence, Trayton Lapsevich. Lapsevich, nothing for your leader. Jordan Lawrence coming home with a big win. And a lot of wrecks and action further on deeper in the pack. But Jordan Lawrence, he's been hit or miss all season. 2nd at USA Speedway, 25th at Richmond, 3rd at Milwaukee, 13th at Five Flags. 2nd pole in a row here tonight at Martinsville. And his first win. He will best the Lapsevich brothers here and win the final race of the 2020 APC 90 Late Model eSERIES.
Well deserved, have had a perfect qualifying run tonight, had track position all night, led every single lap this evening. What a performance this evening. What a performance from Joe Lawrence.
Hey, we'll go down to victory lane right now and get a word with your winner, driver of the Pennzoil APC number 78. Jordan Lawrence finally getting to victory lane. First of all, a dominating performance, my friend. You led all 150 laps. You stuffed it on the pole. You dominated this one. Tell everybody how easy it was.
I don't know if it looked easy, but it was a little stressful. There's a lot of fast guys out here, so you always got to worry with Martinsville. It's short track, bump and runs. It's bound to happen, and when you're the leader, you're the main target for them. But it was a really clean race for the most part. Just kept it out front, and that's what we really needed to do to pull this win off.
Well, it might have been clean out front, but choose a different story out back. But out front, you were able to keep it there all night, even when the fresh tires came along. Tell us about holding off those guys who had tires that were fresher than yours.
Well, I was a little worried about some of the fresher tires, but it looked like they damaged the cars up a little bit by the time they got to me, so I think it evened out a little bit, and it didn't really give them a chance to get a good run against me, which was thankful for us because we were just managing what we could, and we did what we had to do.
Hey, you're probably celebrating right now wherever you are iRacing in your sim. First of all, congratulations. And secondly, how big is it going to be when you finally get to victory lane in one of the real APC races?
I'm excited. I came close, I feel, a couple times last year. We had some strong runs, but we're building the team and we're making ourselves better. We're ready to get going and hopefully hit the track soon here.
Jordan Lawrence, driver of the 78 machine. I know you got a lot of people you want to thank for helping you out.
Obviously, I thank APC Pennzoil. I want to thank everyone who put this eSeries together. It's a lot of work to run one of these programs, and the work that Ryan Dyson and everyone in the background did. We had volunteers come in and help oversee the races. Obviously, all the officials and announcers, you guys did a great job. It's great to see something like this we can put on for the fans.
Good stuff, Jordan Lawrence. A big win. We know that will move him up in the year-end power rankings. Congratulations, Jordan.
Thank you.
Very happy Joe Lawrence coming away with the first position tonight. Trayton Lapsevich coming home in second as part of a 1-2-3 of McCall Racing Machines. Trayton first things first. How are you feeling after that bumping and baiting race tonight here at Martinsville?
I mean, I guess I'll have to take it. Like, we had a really fast car early on, and I got a setback by going to the back, and that sort of lost me the first half of the race. But yeah, overall, we drove back through the field, and I guess we'll take the second place.
How difficult was it to try and maintain a lot of that track position tonight? Of course, you talked about at one point with some of the incidents, losing track position. How difficult was it to try and plan things out as the way the race flowed?
Passing was super tough. It was super hard to set up a pass because everyone just sort of like at Martinsville, you just got to sort of stop it in the corners and then get the drive off. So that made it. Me going back through the field was a lot of luck too. I was just in the right lanes on the restart, so that helped a lot.
Indeed, as well. And what makes Martinsville so tricky? Whether it's someone who has experience in the railroad or some of the first times here on the sim, what makes Martinsville so tricky to try and master?
Martinsville's super tough because it's got the long straightaways, so it's really about getting off of the corner, but you also got to get in hard too. So, but yeah, if you have a bad corner exit, you'll lose that whole straightaway, which will lose you a lot of time.
Now, last race for the time being for the APC eSERIES. Overall, what's kind of the main point you want to mention to the fans after a competitive time in this series as you continue to go back and forth in that car along the safer barrier? What would you like to tell the fans about how the races were and overall the McCalls who are actually watching along tonight right now at this moment?
Overall, like, the series was pretty fun. Sometimes we got a bit rough, but like that happens in real life too. It was good racing. I thought I had a lot of speed throughout every race, really, just couldn't get any luck to come my way.
Indeed. Anyone you want to thank for being a part of your second place finish tonight?
I got to thank Rick McCall Racing, Thompson Photography, the local skate shop, Reinhardt Auctions, and Bobby Dale Earnhardt Legacies.
Congratulations on the second place finish tonight. Good run.
Thank you.
Trent Lapsovich coming home in second tonight. Good run for him this evening. Standing by with your third place finisher, Jamie is with Caden Lapsovich.
Well, Caden Lapsovich, driver of the 76 machine. First of all, congratulations on another podium finish.
Thank you.
You don't sound too excited for a guy that just finished third. Man, you were coming, and it seemed like, I don't know what it was, whether it was just the fact that you hit the faster cars, or did the tires just equalize when you, it was almost like you hit a wall when you hit about fourth or fifth spot.
Yeah, I would say I more or less just hit the quicker cars. I tried to save as much as I can while trying to avoid the wrecks, and you know, I put myself in a bad position there anyways. I shouldn't have tried to come down on Trayton there. I'd start and fill a hole that probably wasn't there. It was just too early for it, but you know, we recovered all right. But you know, it was fun. Good race, good group of guys to race with, and I hope we can do it again.
Obviously, everybody looking forward to the next couple weeks or months. Hopefully, when the world can get back to somewhat normal and we can get back to the real track. But I mean, you guys have been busy. You and your brother, you've been racing the Rowdy Select Series, the APC Series. I mean, how much fun have you had doing the iRacing deal?
You know, it's fun because it's for about the past 6 or 7 years. It's something that we've sort of done for fun. You know, like kids play hockey, we play iRacing, right? So it's fun. I met a lot of cool people. The last few weeks to a month have been real fun. I got to race with a lot of fun. Got to race a lot of fun series. Race with a lot of different people, and got to have a lot of fun. That's all there is to it.
I gotta ask you real quick. I was watching on TV last Saturday. You guys ran 150 laps at Oxford Plain with no yellows, and there's no walls around that track. How crazy is that place?
It's tough. It's one of my, if not worst, tracks in the game. I don't know why. I just cannot figure it out. But you know, as that run went on there and we got really long into that race, I started to kind of figure it out. Just, you know, how I could move around and change my lineup a little bit, and we started picking up some cars. So that was a fun race. Had we not started as deep as we did, I think we might have had a better shot at, you know, a podium or a top 5. it was fun, and that's all there is to it.
Well, tell us about tonight and getting around this half mile, closing laps. I mean, you just it's a tough place to pass to get those two guys up front.
Yeah, it was tough. The top really worked good tonight. I was kind of surprised by that. I made a couple passes on the top, coming back through the field, but I don't know. We got up into the top 5 or 6, fairly easy, I would say. It definitely wasn't real easy, but we made the most of it. But once we got there, just kind of like you said, we kind of just hit a brick wall and couldn't really do anything. Just sort of rode and let everything sort of work itself out. But we had a couple good restarts there at the end, put us back into contention for a podium. Missed a couple wrecks in front of us. Just kept our nose clean at the end.
Hey, with real racing kind of starting to quasi-resume, your first of all, for anybody that wants to watch, your Rowdy Series takes place on Sundays now. Congratulations on a big third-place finish. It was Tuesdays now, okay.
Yeah, we're going to Tuesday.
That's news to me, but good to know. I know you got a lot of people you want to thank who help support your info or your program.
Yeah, I got to thank Tom's Photography, Brandon McFerrin Racing, Rick McCall, the local skate shop, 8 Services, all the guys at Bobby Dale Legacy eSports do a lot of work for me. This has been fun, but I'm really looking forward to getting back behind the wheel, whether it be with my car owner Bobby Blunt or anything else. It's been a lot of fun, and hopefully we can do it again in the winter or something.
Gain laps, which is solid third-place finish. Justin, that kind of wraps up our little season here, doesn't it?
Indeed, and it was a lot of fun, and I think the fans really enjoyed the action throughout these past few weeks. A lot of drivers with a lot of good performances. Very entertaining race tonight, but overall, I think many of these drivers are ready to get back to the real world track whenever they can. It was a lot of fun, Jamie, throughout this eSeries to see some of these drivers and how well they did. I think a lot of drivers made some names for themselves for when they hit the real pavement in just a little bit.
Yeah, the iRacing thing definitely is cool, Justin, but as cool as it is hanging out with you here while we're each sitting in our own living room watching it on a computer, I would definitely rather be at Delaware Speedway having a burger, a hot dog, and an ice cream, watching practice and getting ready to watch our favorites and our heroes do battle on the real racetrack. So that'll wrap everything up from Martinsville Speedway. A big thanks to Brad, our producer tonight, and of course a big thanks to Justin Prince. Pleasure to work alongside of you the past 5 Thursday night. Looking forward to hopefully getting some real racing going on soon. Of course, like to see you at the track to support the APC 908 Model Tour. And we will be back with an eSeries at some point. Just a question whether there's some more races coming up soon or whether it's going to be next winter. But the eSeries, I have been told, for the APC cars will return. Again, thanks from everybody at 39 Productions. Again, Brad, Justin, pleasure to work alongside you guys for the last 5 weeks. For now, from Martinsville, Virginia, we hope you had a hot dog eating great time watching the chase for the virtual grandfather clock at Martinsville, Virginia. And congratulations to our winner, Jordan Lawrence.
Productions, www. This is a copyrighted production of 39 Productions, www.39designcompany.com, and may not be rebroadcast, replicated, or saved in any media without the explicit written permission of 39 Productions. The opinions expressed in this programming are those of the host, co-host, and guest, and do not necessarily reflect those of the management and/or ownership of either 39 Productions, the advertisers, or our marketing partners.
Introducing GeForce TV. GeForceTV.net is your new source for action overload. Featuring free live programming year-round and countless hours of on-demand video, GeForce TV will be your first stop whenever you want to see the latest and hottest racing action. See live Friday Night Excitement weekly from Martinsville Speedway, and watch the stars of tomorrow make a name for themselves during Thursday night's live microsprint racing. GeForce TV is also the new home for Rivals Race Chat. Watch weekly as Clinton Jeffrey and Adam Ross discuss all the hot topics in the world of motorsports. For iRacing fans, GeForce TV has you covered with hours of live broadcasting from Rivals and GeForce TV racing leagues. GeForce TV promises to deliver motorsports, eSports, and action sports you want to see, along with talk shows and vlogs to keep you connected to the lifestyle you love. Visit GeForceTV.net today to subscribe for free. Sit back, hold on, and feel the G's on GeForce TV.